Duology Theater was made possible by producer Nolan Matten. Thank you, Nolan. It was also made possible by contributions from listeners like you.
There's the Young Guns.
Hello, folks.
Hello, everyone.
Welcome to Duology Theater, a show where we watch 2 movies every month that are also related.
Yes. No. You guys know. No. It's in the introduction, isn't it?
Yeah.
Or is it?
No. We just say welcome to Duology Theater.
Oh.
We say people figured it out. I mean, you're bound to figure it out. We're in May. We're in our May movies.
This is our 3rd installment?
Yeah. It's
All
our
right.
3rd month, going on our 3rd month.
Well, basically,
we did Escape from New York, right?
Escape from New York, Escape from LA last month. Then the first month we did The Raid and The Raid 2. So basically, we watch movie series that consist of only 2 films.
Yep. And then we talk about, usually the first episodes is talking about the first movie, because that's the one we watch. And then we watch the sequel, and then we talk about that. And then we talk about how this series functioned as a whole.
Yeah.
And so for this month of May, we're doing Young Guns and Young Guns 2.
Yes, we are.
Yeah, even younger. Tom, I assume you're the one who instantly gravitated to Young Guns when I gave you the list that we were provided.
Uh-huh.
So I can only assume you've seen this movie before.
No.
Okay.
I have seen part of Young Guns 2.
Okay.
That is what I've seen, is part of Young Guns 2. And I'm very familiar with the Oscar-nominated theme song for Young Guns 2 by Bon Jovi.
Ah, okay. I'm not familiar with that Oscar-nominated theme song. I'm excited. I'm excited about it.
Yeah.
I'm very curious about Young Guns 2. I had never seen either of these films. Mm-hmm. It's a real Brat Pack situation, right? Is that what they're called? Is this part of the Brat Pack?
I think only Emilio is part of the Rat Pack.
What about Chuck?
Charlie, I don't know. Because he didn't appear in any of those he has a brief cameo in Ferris Bueller's Day Off, but he didn't appear in any of the
I thought the
John
Outsiders.
Hughes.
Who was in the Outsiders? I thought the
Dillon.
Outsiders started that. And yeah, maybe none of these motherfuckers are in that either.
I thought Breakfast Club 16 Candles started it. I could be wrong. But the Brat Pack is more like Emilio, John Cryer, Molly Ringwald.
I'm pretty sure
Demi Moore, like St. Elmo's Fire people too.
Yeah,
Andrew McCarthy.
That makes sense.
Those people. I don't think any of these guys were in it.
Not even Keith?
No, Kiefer's first big role was The Lost Boys, which was the year before this.
Oh, okay. This is
and actually
apparently
Kiefer's the youngest in this movie. He's 21 years old in this film.
It's also apparently Charlie Sheen and Emilio Estevez's first film together?
Yes, which is funny because for a number of reasons, but Emilio is the older brother, but in this movie, he's supposed to be like the 19, 20-year-old Billy the Kid, and Charlie Sheen is supposed to be like the older leader of this group of regulators, when in fact, Charlie's like 3 or 4 years younger than Emilio.
Yeah, that's silly.
Mm-hmm.
Also in this movie, we mentioned Keith, we mentioned Emilio, Lou Diamond Phillips.
Yeah!
Yeah. Dermot Mulroney?
Dermot Mulroney, yep.
He's in this fucking... I never knew his name.
He sure as shit is in this movie.
He sure as shit is. Terrence Stamp, the old guy.
Yeah.
He's like the not Malcolm McDowell guy that I see in a lot of movies.
Yeah, he's Zod.
Yeah. Oh man, he absolutely is Zod. Holy shit.
Yeah, he's Zod as shit, bro.
Jack Palance.
Jack Palance is the evil rancher.
Yeah, that's pretty special. And Terry O'Quinn.
Yeah.
Sticking his business in here.
TCB and Terry O'Quinn.
It's an all-star cast. I am excited I looked up the cast of Young Guns too. And I guess first of all, spoilers for Young Guns from here on, because there's the surviving characters.
Yes.
Plus Christian Slater and Alan Ruck.
Yep.
Yeah, so and Viggo Mortensen.
Fucking Viggo Mortensen. Yeah.
Bradley Whitford, Scott Wilson, who's from The Walking Dead. Yeah, so it's got a hell of a cast for the sequel. And I guess one of my starting thoughts on this is watching this movie. I can't imagine there should be a sequel to it.
There shouldn't have been. Like, this movie ends pretty definitively.
Yeah, if I saw this in theaters and then I saw news, like, you know, when you, like, movies today, if you hear there's a sequel coming and you're like, wait, why? This is one of those. It's like, the movie's done. The story is over.
Yes. And in point of fact, Young Guns 2, we'll talk about it more when we get to it, but it's one of the sequences I remember from the film, and reading about the movies to do this podcast, I learned more about it. Young Guns 2 kind of contradicts the first film and also contradicts history in a pretty major way.
Really?
Yes, because one of the actors really didn't want to be in Young Guns 2, and I won't spoil who until we actually get to it. So it's basically one of the actors who plays a character that is a real-life person only agreed to do Young Guns 2 if he got killed off early on because he didn't want to be in it, even though his character survived for a very long time and was not killed in real life.
I'm going to go ahead and guess that it's Keith.
Okay, we will note your guess on the books.
Yeah.
You have guessed Keith.
Yeah, Kifo S. The Southern Man.
Kifo Sutherland.
Yep. So I guess since neither of us has seen this movie before,
yes,
what did you think of it?
I thought it was okay. One of the things I liked about it, and apparently in reading about the movie, it's one of the more historically accurate depictions of Billy the Kid.
Yes, I read that as well. There's little behind the scenes of this online.
Yeah. One of the things I liked about it is that Billy the Kid is a piece of shit.
Yes.
Like
he is a villain.
He is very unlikable. He's like the fucking Joker in this. He just kills people, gets all of his friends into way more trouble, and ends up getting half of them killed because he's a fucking jackass. Like,
that is part of my review of this.
Yeah.
Which is that I did not expect to like this movie. Mm-hmm. I'm not a big Westerns guy. I like
really?
I like the cream of the crop.
Yeah.
But generally speaking, I find them a little slow.
They can be, and you could accuse this one of being a little slow in the beginning.
Yeah, and they tend to follow or at least a lot of the classics tend to follow a formula, or the classics I've seen.
This one does as well. This one, you know immediately in the first 5 minutes what the story's going to be.
Yes, but what set this apart for me, and I gotta say, the first 15 minutes, up until their papa guy dies,
up until Zod gets shot.
Yeah, the weird pervert collecting young men. For I don't know, just to have, he's just collecting. Mm-hmm. But up until he gets shot, I was like, okay, I'm bored, because I knew it was like Emilio's the new guy. He's kind of mysterious, and then they get shot, and it's like, okay, they're gonna avenge him. The moment Emilio, fucking shoots one of them in the face. Yep. Through a very good guess that he's a spy. I didn't look up the historical accuracy of that, but the movie seems to present him like a spy.
But it never resolves it.
No, it never
So
says it.
It's really up in the air.
Yeah.
Like, maybe he was a spy, or maybe Billy's just a maniac.
Yeah, and so the moment he does that, everybody was like, what the fuck, man? I was like, oh, shit. And then I thought, okay, is he going to be the villain of this? And not really that either. I mean, he's definitely a dipshit. He's definitely a villain.
Yeah,
But the movie, it comes down to like feeling like there's just no hero, or there's like they try to give it to Keith.
You end up liking, like you like Kiefer, you like Lou Diamond, you end up liking Charlie.
Yeah, that's true. And then even
Dermot's
Billy,
a filthy racist.
Yes,
but he is incredibly entertaining.
Yeah, he goes real bad. It's whiplash on how his racism, because he's always racist, but
He's
whether or
always
not
racist,
he
yeah.
likes the Lou Diamond Phillips's character.
Yeah. Man,
yeah,
this is a fucking real quick tangent. Fucking stunning character performance by Dermot Mulroney.
Well, he always has like the tobacco.
He's got a huge fucking lip full of chaw in every single scene.
He looks like a fucking cartoon character.
He does. He's, oh my God. This is like a Tom Hardy level of choice he's made for his character.
And good on
it's
him.
So good.
These are all apparently based on real guys. I know the I forgot the name of their little group.
The Regulators.
The Regulators. I know the Regulators were a lot larger. There was like 20 of them or something like that. So they just cut it down.
There was a lot, and from what I'm reading, Billy the Kid was never the leader of it.
Oh, okay, yeah. He's just the most. I feel like he's just the most recognizable.
He's
name.
He's the most famous. Yeah.
Yeah. I did like the idea when the newspapers put out information of him, they post Charlie Sheen's picture,
and it's all wrong. Like all the information is wrong.
And I like that idea. I thought for a second it sort of is that the idea that Billy the Kid is sort of several people, which I like that idea.
Yeah, and I think that's a lot of, like, from what we have come to learn about the quote unquote Wild West, is that so much of it was just people inflating their own stories.
Yeah.
And they do that in this movie, like that scene where Billy the Kid shoots that fucking dipshit bounty hunter in the bar who doesn't even know he's out there to like collect a bounty on Billy the Kid and doesn't even know he's talking to Billy the Kid.
Right.
And like everything he says about like, well, here's what we know. He's tall, he's handsome, he whistles sad songs. Like fucking none of that's true. I mean, well, Emilio's handsome, but like the rest of it's like completely fucking bogus.
Right.
So it's like, and then when he shoots that guy, he's like, what's that, 25? And Kiefer's like, 5.
Yeah, and he's like, let's make it 10.
Let's make it 10, yeah. So it's
Which
just...
I am 100% on that side. I would be the biggest liar in the Old West.
Of course!
Yeah. I'd be fucking
There's
Lance
no
Hendrickson.
fact-checking in the 1880s?
Yeah, I'd be Lance Hendrickson in fucking The Quick and the Dead. I would just be full of shit.
Yeah. Or fucking Richard Harris in Unforgiven.
Oh, yeah.
Same type of character.
Yeah, I would make up so many lies, but yeah, I like that aspect of it. Shit, I had a thought, and it has evaporated from my head. We were talking about him shooting that guy who. Oh yeah, it was a dumb thought. That guy looked a little like Hugo Weaving. Am I wrong?
He looked like somebody.
Okay.
So I looked up enough that I looked up the actor and didn't recognize the name.
Okay.
But I thought it was like, I was like, this is like a Powers Booth or somebody.
Yeah. He felt very boofy.
But it super wasn't.
Yeah. The MVP, in my opinion, in terms of characters, was the outhouse old guy.
Oh, what was his name? Buckshot something.
I don't even remember.
Like Buckshot Wilson?
I got a real pan shot vibe from him.
Buckshot Roberts.
Okay.
Yeah, that guy fucking ruled.
Yeah, because he just shows up and they're like, we have a warrant for him. And then he's just like, yeah, I hear there's a bounty on you guys' head, so I'm just here to collect. And then he like takes out a bunch of guns. And he's just like, all right, let's dance.
He puts one gun on the ground and then is like, all right, let's dance, and then just gets on one knee and starts shooting his rifle. Yep. Just like right in front of all 6 of them.
And he proves to be a real problem.
He fucks them up.
Yeah.
He kills Charlie Sheen.
Charlie Sheen gets murdered pretty early in this movie.
Yeah,
does he ever
about midway through.
Oh, okay. Does he ever show back up?
No. So I like, it's unclear what happened to that guy. I guess he ducks into the outhouse. And then after he kills Charlie Sheen, they fucking rip the outhouse apart. So I guess he dies, but we never know. We never see him again. So
I like to think he's still somewhere out there even today.
He reminded me, not necessarily of Pan Shot, he reminded me of the guy that shows up in the Coen Brothers True Grit, the guy that's a dentist and he trades them for the dead body they found.
Oh, yeah, that guy's great.
Fucking guy, yeah.
Yeah.
Because they're wearing like similar gigantic bearskin coats.
Right.
Yeah.
I just like the single old guy just proving to be an extremely big inconvenience for these kids.
Serious problem for these 20-year-old
And this is,
kids.
again, it's what made the turning point so good. The turning point actually happens a little earlier. Because the plot for people who are on... That's the other thing. Have people seen this movie?
This movie was a pretty big hit when it came out, which is why it has a sequel that it really shouldn't have.
Yeah, but it feels like it's completely fallen off of the radar.
Oh,
nobody talks about this movie.
No, this is very much a product of its time.
Yeah, which is interesting because I think it's one of the I read that it had bad reviews. I did read that it got bad reviews, but I think this is... I don't know. This was a pretty unique Western. I enjoyed this.
It's unique for a lot of reasons. One of which is its score.
Yes, it's like an oddly modern score, isn't it?
It's a fucking thunderously 80s score. It's all like synth and galloping synthetic drum beats.
It's one of those things that, like, at the time people were like, "What the fuck is this?" But if they did this in the early 2000s, people would be like, what a brilliant idea. It'd be like Sofia Coppola doing Marie Antoinette.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's a weird choice.
The funny thing that I read about that in the behind-the-scenes shit is that apparently James Horner originally scored this film, and he scored it more traditionally. And they, according to Wikipedia, they rejected his score because it sounded too Irish. Which I assume means it sounded probably kind of similar to his Titanic score.
Oh.
And then they went for something more Western, and I'm like, what they wound up with is not more Western than anything.
No, not even a little bit.
What they came up with is fucking Patrick Bateman dancing in a nightclub.
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah, I don't know what that means. There's definitely. It's funny because this had the feeling almost of like a teen romp. Because of the way it's framed. It's just with a dark twist. They even stop and have a drug sequence. They
do, and it's pretty fucking funny.
It is. Very unnecessary. They all take peyote in the desert. You could cut
this out. Yeah, you could completely remove this from the film.
I would pay so much money to do peyote with Lou Diamond Phillips.
With a skull painted on his face?
With a skull painted on his face. What a treat.
Dermot Mulroney shooting a shotgun intermittently, ranting about a giant chicken.
That was so good.
Oh, he's the fucking MVP for me.
Yeah.
He's so good in this.
I think this is what I liked about it is that it's right there in the name, Young Guns. And I was thinking, like, right away they start casually pointing their guns at each other.
Yeah, they're all dipshits.
Yeah, and the old guy is just always like, guys, stop it. Like, I'm trying to train you guys to be, like, you know, good lads. And the movie is really about, like, a group of young people about 19 to 20 who are just sort of rebelling.
Yeah.
And what happens is they go through all the motions. Like when they're running away, they stop and take peyote. And all I could think is like, this is not the time, you guys. But like, you're only young once. They're just like, they're living it up.
Yeah.
to them, this is just like wild fucking early 20s. And so, yeah, the turn comes earlier. The moment I got interested in this movie is after their weird papa guy dies. They get deputized, and the idea is like, okay, go take these people in. And the first one, Billy the Kid, sees how like they give it to him because he's the new one, and he sees how impossible the situation is. Like, I'm not going to walk into this bar and tell this guy he's under arrest. They're going to eat me alive. So he just waits till the guy's in the bathroom and, like a serial killer, just shoots him.
Yeah, he shoots him and he starts laughing like a lunatic.
Yes.
And then puts the warrant in his mouth. There's nobody else there. It's just the two of them in the bathroom. So we know that the way he's behaving is not performative. Like, he's not putting on a show to propel his own mystique for anyone. This is him. Like, this is who he is.
Oh, yeah. He's behaving like, well, I would when I play D&D. It's the same feeling of like his like, fuck it, like none of this matters.
Right, like
just go in there, just go in and do it, just solve the problem, just shoot the guy.
Yeah.
It's a very like, it's a very reckless, I'm gonna live forever attitude.
Right, like and that's consistent throughout the film. Like, he has, like, when they have that scene where Billy just fucking murders the sheriff in the street.
Right.
And then they get their obviously they get their deputization revoked. And now the army's after them, and bounty hunters and all this shit. And Charlie is freaking out because he's like, we're going to get hung. And then he starts recounting like every horrible thing he's heard about being hung, which all of it's true. Because he's like, I hear like, like your eyes bulge out, like your face gets all purple, you shit yourself. All of that's accurate. And Billy's just like, oh yeah, I've seen somebody hang. Yeah, it's pretty wild.
Right.
It was a sight to see. Like, he's like, he's such a fucking maniac.
Well, here's the question though. Is he a maniac or is he a product of his situation? Because
he's both. He's both.
Because everybody in this version of the West, I can't speak to historical accuracies, but in this version, everybody's kind of a sociopath.
Yes, very much so.
Yeah, I was listening to an interview with Emilio Estevez, and I don't know if this is an appropriate comparison, but it was very interesting that he compared his character to, and all the characters, like there were people, someone asked like, where would they be in, what would the equivalent in modern times? And he was like, well, they're rebellious kids who are kind of fucked by the system, who are rebelling against actual injustice that they see as fucked up. I would compare them to like a young man living in East LA. Like he was talking, there's the LA riots and stuff that was happening, I think around the same time. So like it was an interesting,
a few years after. It was 91.
It was an interesting thought because it was like, they're all runaways. They have this one person who treats them well, and he's gunned down by basically like a competing big business. Yep. And everybody's telling them to be civilized about it. And it's like, nah, fuck them. Like that's his attitude basically, because you could say he's a sociopath, but he's no more sociopath than anybody else around him. There's this like idea that, oh, fuck them. Why do I have to patiently wait? I'm gonna cause so much of a ruckus. He keeps saying I'm gonna get the president to see us. Yeah,
I think he is more of a sociopath than the others. He's definitely more extreme.
Oh yeah, because he takes more pleasure out of it.
Oh yeah, he fucking like he like I said, he reminded me of the Joker because he laughs like a Jack in the Box every time he kills somebody, and everybody else really wants to actually arrest the people. Like they take some amount of pride in being deputies,
right?
And Billy just kind of forces them into a situation where they have to just murder everybody.
Billy becomes a loose cannon and just is like, this way is easier, this way is quicker. But it's interesting to like where you kind of see where he's coming from.
You do,
which is in his eyes, he's like, these people aren't going to see justice. the system is rigged against us.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to just become outlaws. He is definitely a sociopath, more so than the others, in that he doesn't seem to care about their well-being. That's
really.
what makes him. That's what sets him out, is that he's thinking of them as fodder for kind of his own selfish goals.
Right. Every time, like, he shits on Lou Diamond Phillips when his character's like, look, I had my vision. I've got to go west because, like, you know, this is like I've already been at this crossroads one time before because my whole family was killed by the army. They were just massacred on a reservation after we got trapped by. They gave us bad meat, so we went back to them to try to like trade for more meat, and then they just killed us all there. And I got back to my reservation, everybody was dead there. Like, I've been at this revenge crossroads one time already, and I've seen what happens. So I'm the last person that represents my tribe. If I die, then that's it. Like, that's not the same thing for you guys. Like, I can't do this. Like, I have to go west. And like, Billy just shits all over him.
Yeah.
Like, he's like, oh, you're a big fat coward. We're your family now, you jackass. Like, he's just, and he does it again.
All the characters,
when they want to go to Mexico, when they're
Yes.
like, this is fucked, we're gonna die.
well, he tried. Well, what he's definitely also kind of a narcissist, because he frames everything in a way of like, I'm making this decision. When they're all like, we're going to Mexico, he's like, well, that's even a bigger challenge. So yeah, let's do that. Like, he sort of frames it as like, yeah, this is my. And then when the guy gets married, he's like, well, you're not a very good shot anyway. You shouldn't come with us. Like, that's his way of saying, like, you can stay behind if you want.
Well, he's once again, he's goading him into coming with them.
Well, yeah, that's true.
Yeah. And then that guy does die.
Yeah.
And Emilio doesn't. Billy doesn't even stop. Like, he doesn't say no, Charlie, or no, Dirty Pete,
Right.
or Dirty Steve. I'm sorry, Dirty Steve. When they get shot at the end, he just.
Well, yeah, it's like, to him, it's all. That's the thing, is I was surprised he didn't die. Because he seemed ready to die. And I thought his arc is that he has this death wish, he doesn't care, so he's going to get what he wants. And like, they sort of do that where they throw him out the fucking window in a trunk.
In a fucking trunk, yeah.
Yeah, and so like, he's the craziest motherfucker in that he puts himself in the most danger in that moment so the others can get away.
Yeah.
So in a way, he uses his own his death wish, but then he gets away. That ending is my biggest criticism, by the way.
It's extremely abrupt.
Yes,
Like,
there's
Kiefer,
a few.
Kiefer Sutherland's voiceover starts before the climax scene is done. So you don't hear the first couple of words because Jack Palance is still dying when Kiefer starts to narrate the epilogue. It's a very weird choice.
The beginning also felt rushed in the end, because when when Emilio shows up to the guy dying, it felt like they never really established him becoming part of them. You know what I mean? It was very rushed. It felt like he was only there for like maybe a week, and then he's like, we got to do this for him, and I was like, I don't feel like you know him.
They didn't really show him being accepted by the group.
Yeah. But the ending also, what bugged me, I love the setup. They're in a house. It's being set on fire. Mm-hmm. It's like, I was thinking like, oh, is this Butch Cassidy? Like, is it like, oh, this is it?
It's not dissimilar from Butch Cassidy.
No. And it's like, they're surrounded by people. And so there's the question of like, okay, they're either going to die in there or they're going to get out in a very clever way. And sort of neither happens. The camera starts getting really stroby.
Yeah, this is
they use a really 80s 90s strobe effect.
The slow motion strobing. Yeah, it's a bad choice. This director, unsurprisingly, has not done much.
He did Gone Fishing, Tom.
Uh-huh.
He directed Gone Fishing.
He did. He inflicted that upon us.
Yeah, he sure did.
How did he go from like 80? We'll say 80% of a good movie How did he go from 80% of a good movie to Gone Fishing?
It is surprising.
Yeah.
Maybe he had some, maybe he had, like, gambling addiction, or who can say something in his, cocaine, lots and lots of cocaine.
This could all be on the table.
Yeah. So basically the way they get out of it is the camera goes into a strobe effect. You see like blurs of them running out of the house shooting, and then they just sort of ran off, and I was like, wait, how'd they do that? Like,
right, because the army was outside.
Yeah, it was like, why isn't the army going after them? Why isn't anybody going after them? Like, it really yada yadas over how they get out of that.
It extremely does.
Done such a good job at setting it all up.
Yes.
And it was like a fucking cop-out.
The escalation of that final shootout was really well done. And then, it just sort of, like, the ending just kind of happens in, like, a minute. And
then Terry O'Quinn is just like, yeah, good job, boys. And then they just cut him the fuck down.
Then they turned the Gatling gun. Apparently they had a Gatling gun the entire time.
Yeah, you're right. Why didn't they use that before?
They used it just to shoot unarmed Terry O'Quinn.
I'm gonna make up my own lore here. And the Gatling gun guy was standing by for bullets the whole time.
Right, he was extremely late to the shootout.
Yeah, and then finally someone's like, okay, go.
Well,
and
I gotta shoot somebody.
Yeah, and he just tears Terry O'Quinn, and then everybody has to stop and be like, dude, what the fuck? It's like, come on, man, I never get to use this thing.
What are we gonna pull this off the wagon and then not use it?
Yeah, I didn't understand why Terry O'Quinn. I guess it's just because he's one of the people who knows what happened, so they wanted to.
Well, he was going to open back up,
right? And as a result,
Terrence Stamp's business,
right? And as a result, it all in the epilogue, he does say they all get theirs, and then they say Billy the Kid was killed.
Billy the Kid does not live very long after this. No,
right?
He dies extremely young. Yeah. Well, they wrap it up in the epilogue, which is what's so baffling.
Well, they never planned on making a sequel.
No, they clearly didn't, and this movie shouldn't have had a sequel.
No,
and
it should not have had a sequel.
Especially from what I know about the sequel, from what I've seen of it.
It's very exciting.
Like, it's as if... Okay, like, picture this movie, which we said at the beginning was one of the more historically accurate representations of Billy the Kid.
Yeah. They even did the left hand thing, where the reason people thought Billy the Kid was left-handed is because the film of him was always backwards.
Yes.
And then in this, they say he's left-handed. He's like, that's not true.
He's like, I'm not left-handed.
Yeah.
And then them doing a sequel that's like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Yeah.
Where it just changes history for the sake of being a movie.
Well, here's a question. Deadwood managed this. Because Deadwood has real characters, some of which meet historical ends, others don't. So that's interesting. I don't know how Deadwood got away with it. I guess just by being better.
I don't know. I can't think of any character on Deadwood that doesn't...
I don't want to spoil anything, but there are characters that don't die where they're supposed to die.
That's interesting. Because from what I remember...
Have you watched the movie?
I haven't watched the movie.
Okay, I don't want to spoil anything, but there are characters that don't die when they're supposed to die.
Gotcha. Well, from what I remember historically, I know that Bullock and John Hawkes live good long lives.
They what?
They live good long lives.
Oh, yeah.
Swearingen gets murdered in the street. That's what historically happens to Swearingen is he gets murdered in the street.
Killed, right?
Yeah, he gets killed in the street, and it's one of those things where like nobody saw nothing. He's just dead in the middle of the road.
Right.
But it happens years later.
Right.
So
I mean, it's not extreme what I'm talking about, but it's definitely a thing that they take liberties with, because ultimately here's what it is though. Mm-hmm. Is that Deadwood is serving their own story. Man, I'm going to rewatch Deadwood soon. They're serving their own narrative.
Mm-hmm.
So they might make changes for those artistic reasons. Young Guns could have done that too. Young Guns 2 could have done that. If they went off into the sunset and they didn't have an epilogue, then it would have made more sense.
An epilogue that wrapped everything up.
Yeah, the epilogue clearly states, oh, he's going to die like a month later. And this is going to happen. And like we're wrapping it up. So I think that's the big difference to me.
Yeah, 100%.
It's still not a bad movie. Yeah, I did like Lou Diamond Phillips' character. The fact that he clearly had so much more reason, like he to be pissed. He like I love that idea that he was like, I'm out, and his reason for it, where he's like, I'm beyond this petty. Like I don't have this luxury.
Well, it's not even that
so much more.
It's not even that it's petty. It's like he's just like I've lost so much, and I've been at this crossroads before. I know how this turns out. Yeah,
and I'm the last of my tribe. Like, I have to... Like, if I'm gone, then he won. He wiped us all out. He lives, right?
Yes.
He feels like another good candidate for Kill Me Off.
Mm-hmm. It can only be two actors, right?
What? Keith and...
It can only be Kiefer and Lou Diamond Phillips because it's only those three that survive.
Well, it could. I mean, why couldn't it be...
Emilio?
I don't think it was. I think it's Kiefer. Reading behind-the-scenes stuff, I know Emilio was in... he had gone through a breakup while making this film and was miserable, apparently. And there was a big, back and forth where Lou Diamond Phillips tried to cheer up Emilio.
I want that experience. I want to be going through a hard time and have Lou Diamond Phillips be there trying to cheer me up.
That by doing peyote with him. Sure. He was also filming La Bamba, or he just finished. So they kept making him sing it.
La Bamba's a good ass movie.
And so
if you've not seen it.
I could see this being like Lou Diamond Phillips just being like, man, you guys were high maintenance. I'm out of here. But Kiefer seems the most like maybe his career was starting to take off or something. Mm-hmm. And he was like, maybe. I do know, I think it was, no, Sheen was the one I was reading. Sheen had trouble with horses. So he's already dead. So he can't.
Mm-hmm.
I was just trying to feel, I was like reading about it. I was trying to remember which actor was the most miserable on set that might not want to do another. I feel like all of them should have said no, frankly.
Right. Just to, it wasn't a massive hit. It made $45 million on a budget of 11, which is, it's a hit.
Yeah.
But it's not like a blockbuster. So it's like, why do another one that undermines the ending that you had?
I don't know.
And then consequently, in order to put it together, they had to change history, which was not... Young Guns is not an alternate history movie.
I think it's because, Tom, Hollywood has been just as goddamn shallow as it's then as it is now. We've talked about this before, which is the feeling that Hollywood somehow got worse. And the more I look back at old movies, the more I'm like, maybe not. Maybe it's always been this bad. And that's what it feels like. It feels like a really bad idea for a sequel. But because they were like, we made enough money, let's do it. Is it the same director?
No.
Who's the director of Young Guns 2?
Let's find out.
I'm looking it up.
Jeff Murphy.
Director of Dante's Peak? Really?
Mm-hmm.
Well, shit. This is going to be the best movie ever. Right?
It did get an Oscar nom for Bon Jovi.
Oh, wait. I don't think he directed... Hold on. I don't think he directed Dante's Peak. He directed Fortress 2. He directed Under Siege 2. He directed Free Jack. Okay. So this might be the worst. This might actually be the worst movie. What's his relationship? Because I saw Dante's Peak. Dante's Peak was like in his IMDb credits. Oh, he produced it. He's the producer of Dante's Peak. So what, man? He is also the second unit director for the Lord of the Rings series.
Why not?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe Young Guns 2 is amazing. We really don't know. We have no way of knowing this thing.
We really don't.
We're just going by this movie and the thought, why? Why would they do that?
Yeah, why make a sequel?
Yep. What was... There was that weird... What'd you think of that weird, the romantic subplot? I forget the character's name.
Oh, geez. Lou... What was her name? Fucking Jack Palance just called her China, which was incredible.
Yeah, they were all pretty racist. And I mean...
Yen Sun.
The racism was accurate. I'll give it that. Because, yeah, the way they talk to Lou Diamond Phillips as well is like they're all racists. It's interesting because it's kind of similar to Deadwood in that it's like, there's no heroes here when it comes to race. They're all just a bunch, because of course they are, because that's what they were. Mm-hmm. And so it's interesting in that sense. She's like Jack Palance's slave.
Yes.
Yeah.
He took her to pay for a debt that this family owed him.
Yeah, and then Kiefer is like, I want to take you away from all this. And they make her sort of act like she falls in love with him.
Right, but they exchanged like 4 sentences before that.
And
it's really, and he's really fucking aggro.
Yes, he's really fucking aggro. Like he's following her around. He's screaming when she keeps walking.
Well, he's kind of sweet at first. And then when she keeps walking, he fucking screams at her.
Right, and then he keeps apologizing.
And then he apologizes for it.
And so it's like he's clearly like violent and trying not to be, but he's clearly... Yeah. And that's her point. That's her point. And she's like, you have a gun. Like she's not... That's what her resistance. And then he wins her over by breaking into her room at night.
And saying we could run away to New York. Yeah.
Yeah. And like, for her, she doesn't have many good options.
No.
So, yes, running away with Kiefer Sutherland is the best option for her, but it was weird that the movie made it out to be love. Like, I could see her just, like, running away with him and then, like, kind of losing him when they go back home. When they go back to their new home, or whatever country they go to.
Yeah.
Or, like, yeah, just, like, using a breakout. I don't know. It felt like I couldn't tell if they thought they just needed a romantic subplot because they didn't have time for it.
Not really.
And at the end, she like runs into the burning building with him, and it was
that was wild.
I don't know, man. But here's the catch, and it doesn't really justify it, but I kept reminding myself of it because it like everything made a little more sense. They're all like between 17 and 20.
Yes.
And it's like, oh, they're all idiots. Like, they're all idiots. They all think, I guess in the West it was more, this was more true, but they feel like this is their life.
Right. It's all fucking high school drama, except give all those students guns.
Exactly. And this is what you get. And I appreciate the movie sort of doing that because, I imagine that's what it was like when you're expected to act like an adult and you're fucking 17. You make a lot of bad decisions. A lot of people shoot each other.
Yes. Over very little.
Over very little. So I don't know. That was kind of, I think what makes this unique from other Westerns in my head is that side of it. Mm-hmm. Like almost a teen drama. But it's a Western, and they're all murdering each other.
Yes.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, it's not bad. This movie is not bad.
Yes, this movie is not bad. It takes a little bit... I think it took a little time to pick up.
Yeah.
Once I was in it, I was in it. I genuinely did not know what was going to happen at the end, but I was kind of disappointed about how that played out.
The ending's very abrupt, yeah.
Yep.
They just sort of yada yada.
Yep, and I would have never assumed there was a Young Guns 2.
It is insane that there's a Young Guns 2. The way this movie ends is very definitive.
When I looked it up, I was like, it must be a different cast, right? It's got to be a different story. And I was like, no. No, it's not.
It's the same cast.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
I guess that's it. That's my thoughts on this movie. Do you have any others?
No, that's the entirety of my thoughts on this film as well.
Yeah, I'm surprised I had this many thoughts. I honestly thought I was gonna zone out during this movie and then struggle to remember what the fuck was in the movie.
Yes.
Yeah, good job. If people haven't watched this, they should.
Yeah, you can watch it for free on the IMDb channel with commercials.
Yeah, that was upsetting. Like, okay, whatever. Commercials. You know, you got to make money somehow. I guess that's not what did it. It was so jarring to go from a Western to these ultra-modern commercials. There's something about it.
It was also weird that because IMDb is owned by Amazon, and
they're owned by who? They're owned by Amazon, right?
They're owned by Amazon. So there was no other way to rent this film. Maybe on iTunes.
Yeah.
But like if you prefer to just spend $3 so you don't have to break it up with 4 60-minute commercial breaks.
Yeah. That's not an option. You have to watch it on
not an option, yeah.
You have to watch it on like YouTube or something.
Yeah, yeah.
And oh god,
like
it's even
normally
more,
like commercials normally fine, but like movies are not designed with commercial breaks in mind, unlike TV shows.
I gotta tell you something, Tom.
Yes.
I happen to have what Young Guns is available to watch.
Mm-hmm.
Something's up with this movie. Amazon with IMDb with commercials.
Yes.
Other than that, it's allowed on Sling TV, Fubo TV, and Filio. I don't know what the fuck that shit is.
Jesus Christ. What is any of that?
Yeah, so I don't fucking there's got to be something with the rights to this movie where they're like I don't even know. It's wild. But Young Guns 2 is available for rent, so that's good. Everybody watch these. Get pumped. Get ready for Young Guns 2 because it's going to happen.
Get fucking hyped for Young Guns.
I want to thank our producer, by the way. He was mentioned at the top of this, Nolan Matten. Thank you for making this happen. I think this series is probably going to run for about I think like 6 months. I actually don't know. I don't know how long the series is going to go. I think he was talking about 12 episodes, so like a 6-month run. You guys can expect this series around. And I don't know, you can maybe tweet suggestions at us at our Gamefully Unemployed Twitter, but we sort of have a list to pull from.
We sure do.
A very exciting list to pull from. So I genuinely don't know what we're going to do next month, but I'm excited for it because all the movies on it have a lot of fun potential. I should probably tell you guys about our Patreon as well, right? Mm-hmm. You guys want to know about our Patreon? Patreon.com/GamefullyUnemployed. We have exclusive podcasts there like Tom and Jeff Watch Batman and Fox Mulder is a Maniac. And we have tiers where you can produce your own podcasts. You can produce your own episodes of We Just Watched and make us watch whatever you want. We will dance for you like puppets.
Yeah.
You want us to eat dirt?
We will do anything for money.
Yeah.
We really will.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, we have a store, tpublic.com/store/gamefullyunemployed, where you can get t-shirts, stickers, masks. We're doing a thing. Not we are doing a thing, but TeePublic's doing a thing where they donate a mask for every mask that you buy. So there's something. If you don't have a mask yet and you want to use one of our designs, you can do that and know that it's donating to
it's not
a good cause.
It's not a medical mask.
No.
So that's a heads up. I don't know if people know this yet, and I don't know if it's worth it. I bought an earthquake kit, and that's where I got my mask from.
Mm-hmm.
I got that when we were having like 12 earthquakes, and I was like, "Oh yeah, earthquakes. What if that happens?" But yeah, it came with medical masks. So I don't know if you. I don't think there's like a shortage or anything. I don't know why I'm giving out tips right now. Hot tips.
Spicy tips.
Yeah.
The spice.
The yes. That's what they call me,
yeah.
Dave the Spice.
The Spice.
Mm-hmm. That's
the
my
melange.
wrestler name. Yeah.
But yeah.
What were we talking about?
I don't know.
Is
That's
that
it.
the end of it?
That's
were we
it.
at the end?
We're done. We're complete.
Oh, that it
we are
feels
complete.
Good.
Yeah, it should feel good.
I'm gonna go lie down. Duology Theater is brought to you by Gamefully Unemployed. Check out our cool shit at patreon.com/gamefullyunemployed.